Do you remember Hooked on You, the Dead by Daylight dating sim? Like so many others, you probably had no idea this even existed because the game was advertised just that badly. Sounds on brand for behavior, right? Dead by Daylight hasn't even finished the associated cosmetic lineup in the mainline game. That's how bored they got with this spin-off series. And it's unfortunate how hard they dropped the ball on Hooked on You because it's actually kind of quaint and pleasant in its own way. It was advertised as a dating sim where you could pursue some of the main characters from Dead by Daylight, specifically the killers. You've got Trapper, Wraith, Huntress, and Spirit. The big ones, right? And I think myself and a lot of others always hoped that there was going to be DLC, maybe more killers, like you'd be able to maybe romance Caleb, or maybe Hux, maybe even Trickster. Give us an IP one where you could romance Pyramid Head and Ghostface. You know, the killers that we really want to get down and dirty with. But I guess not enough people cared about the franchise. Certainly, behavior didn't, which sounds a lot like casting a Frank Stone. No one cared. I'm sensing the common theme here. As you progress through the story of Hooked on You, you learn a bit more about each one of the killers. What makes them tick, what makes them happy, what makes them mad, and what makes them feel the fuzzy feelings on the inside for you that you can use to continue to romance them and hopefully get the most optimal ending with them. And there are even some lewd and intimate encounters that you can have, which, let's be real, that's what everybody that's playing this wants to have. We're not in it to have some kissy lovey-dovey story with the Trapper. We want to get him undressed and do nefarious things to his body. We want to do unchristian-like things with the Huntress, maybe involving some light BDSM. Who's to say? The game is developed by the same people who worked on I Love You, Colonel Sanders, which is a very cute little KFC advertisement, but it's really not that great of a dating sim when you really get down to it. And they do make references wherever they can in this game to I Love You, Colonel Sanders. Unfortunately, like so many other behavior projects, this just doesn't get the attention that it deserved. It didn't get the advertising budget, it didn't get the right love within the game, and I think ultimately players just didn't care that much. There wasn't any reason to play it. It didn't have anything that exciting, and it was kind of a difficult game, which I think is probably the problem of going with the company that did I Love You, Colonel Sanders. They have some great ideas, but they're not good at the follow-through, which is probably why Behavior worked with them, because it's a lot like their own business acumen. Damn. I'm shocked, though. I am shocked that Behavior would put out a poorly thought and constructed game. Shocked, I tell you. I can't believe it. In any case, I have played this game once before where I romanced Trapper all the way through, got him in his rhinestone bedazzled jockstrap. You heard that right. And this time I wanted to go for Sad Boy Wraith. My journey begins on a beach in the middle of nowhere. Romantic, right? Where's Wilson? Wilson! Dwight and Claudette are here and are the proxy to understanding my goals within the game, which is to find love, maybe. Maybe. I try to be nice to them wherever I can. Always be nice to service workers. They're doing their best for so little money. I'm then introduced to the main love interests who are all hot, sweaty, and a little bit dirty. Nothing a little car wash and an exfoliator brush can't handle. Again, my sights are set on Wraith this time. So even though my one true love is Trapper, I'm going for the twink. He's a sad little quiet dude who's afraid of fire, rejection, and doesn't like meat. I can get into each one of those things. I've played enough of these dating sims to know that you have to pander towards the character you want, even if you naturally wouldn't talk like the dialogue presented. And oh boy, does this dialogue get weird. Oh, it gets weird. The sexy killers ask me a series of personality questions like this is an interview at a Macy's. I don't know why I could only choose between math, history, or skipping class as my favorite school subjects, so I'm just gonna say that this test was rigged, because my favorite class was none of them. But I went to all of them. Each of these questions were more broad than the last, with very few options to choose from. Also, the best flavor of ice cream is Coffee Coffee Buzz Buzz. Hands down, no contest. Mint chip is lovely, but coffee ice cream is where it's at, man. We head towards the pool where I attempt to get to know the Wraith better than the others. But then they bombard me with their mindless interruptions. It's still very early in the game and I just want to be on his radar. Later at dinner, we're interrupted. Again. This time it's by the Trickster. I would kiss Trickster, I won't lie, but I get the feeling he would be kind of bad at it. You know, like when someone just doesn't kiss good? Claudette and Dwight serve us some meat they called Felix. Yo, this is crazy. They killed off Felix in this game just to make him a spit roast? I know a lot of people want to spit roast Felix, but come on. This is not the kind that they wanted. I chop up the shawarma Richter and decide not to eat anything because the very idea of snacking on Felix's roasted corpse is kind of vile to me. I want to eat his butt, not eat his body. Wraith pulls me off to the side and I learn some valuable information. He loves truth-telling. Why did I say that like Oprah? I love bread. So now I have direction in the game. Always be honest with him, because it should lead to positive interactions. And I've played enough of these games to know, you must pander. He reveals to me his very special object, his bell, and I feel like I'm getting really close to him. As we're about to get intimate, I'm interrupted, yet again, by Dwight and Claudette. I know this is their job, but can they get a hobby or something? I'm trying to be a thought out here. They bring us to the next round of festivities, the spooky campfire story time. I ask Wraith to share his best scary tale, and he goes hard on sharing his tragic backstory about being a young boy, killing a man, and taking their spine out of their body. That's normal. He tried to play it off like it was about someone else, but it was very clearly about himself. And I appreciate the lore dump, but I mean, what a buzzkill. I tried to praise him for the story, but I'm interrupted yet again by the trickster. He's really starting to get annoying in my quest to touch Wraith's abs. Like, I get that Trickster has nice abs too, but I want to touch Wraith's. Wraith and I sneak off to the pool where he asks me about the story, and I think I fumbled the ball a bit because this is where things got awkward. In my defense, Wraith is an awkward character. He's cute, but he lacks a lot of personal identity and he's always hiding his true thoughts because of fear of rejection, which I understand. So what I'm saying is, this really truly isn't my fault. I tried to sleep, but I'm kept up by this ominous screaming on the other side of a mountain. And you know what, yo? I'm still kind of disappointed that this island never made it to Dead by Daylight as its own map. I invite my sad boy to join me and help me sleep, and I was hoping for some hot 6s and 9s, but instead he shows me his chess piece and says that horsies are cute. He's so soft despite that tough exterior. Day 2 begins with a casual assassination attempt by the trickster involving poisoned coffee. I then signed an NDA with Dwight and Claudette that I would not share any negative reviews of the island, which I will not be following because this island sucks. At breakfast, I didn't even get to eat any bacon or eggs because I was bombarded by all of the killers, once again vying for my attention. Come on, yo. I'm really not interested. Listen, people, the only one I want here is Wraith. So I sulk off to the hot tub to clear my mind, and who the hell do I find? You guessed it. The trickster. Dude, you tried to kill me a few hours ago, so kindly piss off. When will my sweet boy Wraith come to find me? Oh, there he is. He and Spirit want to hang out with me today, but I totally reject her to spend time with Bing Bong Boy. Wraith leads me to an abandoned area of the jungle where we're supposed to get to know each other, but we encounter some more awkward silence. Again, I don't think this is my fault. I decide to be a bit more forward with him and tell him that I'm on the island to meet him, which is technically true, that's why I re-downloaded the game, but that makes him a little embarrassed. I felt like being forward would be a good strategy because he's elusive, he's dodgy, he needs someone to maybe be a bit more assertive in his life. I don't know if that was the right move. He then gave me his thing. His bell, people, his bell. I wish it was his other thing, but it was just his bell. Great, so now I'm responsible for this precious thing? I lose my own keys in my own pockets. I can't be responsible for this precious item. We then play a game of talking about the stars where he asks me college-level questions about the constellations that I was absolutely in no way prepared to answer. Who put this silly quiz in the game? I just want to talk. Because this, I'm pretty sure, lost me a lot of points with him. I failed the quiz miserably, which is bullshit. And then we played a game of Truth or Dare. I love Truth or Dare because it always gets spicy. And some jungle kissing is exactly what I'd like about right now. I dared him to take off his shirt, which he hesitantly did, and I feel like this is definitely where I lost the game. And I gotta say, I don't understand developers making dating sims that punish you for being flirty or horny. I'm playing this game for a fantasy. Let me be spicy, come on. Spirit then tries to distract me from my date, but I'm not gonna be led astray so easily, even if I'm flopping. I ignored her and headed back to Wraith, who showed me a deep secret below ground. He opens a hatch and leads me to the remnants of a murder cult called the Cult of the Black Veil. Wraith wants to tell me some deep secret, but not before we're interrupted once again by Dwight and Claudette. They lead us to the Sunset Beach for dinner. Wait, it's sunset? Weren't Wraith and I just looking at the stars? At night? Time continuity is wild here. The killers are getting antsy. They all want my attention, but all I want is the attention of Wraith. We make off to the fire pit again, where the object of my eye tells me another few stories. These ones feel even more personal than the last one. Wraith seems extra sad tonight, so we head off alone, and I suggest getting down and dirty in the beach sand. I thought I was gonna get some sex on the beach, but instead, we just buried Dwight and turned him into a mermaid sandcastle. Don't get me wrong, sex with Wraith sounds fun, but sand between the butt cheeks is never fun, so I guess this was a fine alternative. As the sun rises, I'm asked to reject one of the killers and remove them from the dating show that we're on right now. Yes, all of this is a game show, which I knew already from playing before, but it's an interesting twist, I guess. Kinda silly though. Why does the entity have a killer dating show on an island? The storyline's a little weird here, and I'm not gonna question too much more, but it doesn't make a lot of sense in the realm of the universe of Dead by Daylight. I choose to eliminate the contestant that's most like Wraith, and that's Spirit. She's cute and all, but she's not really my type, and she seemed the least likely to murder me for eliminating her. As expected, she's completely unbothered and gets to go home with a consolation prize, a trickster body pillow. I want that. She's oddly aloof, which is kinda scary. A few hours ago, she was trying to get me to date her and ignore the Wraith. So what happened? What's the tea? She's definitely up to something. On the final day, I must confess my feelings to one of the killers, in front of everybody else. To no one's shock and surprise, I chose the Wraith. He takes me on one final date where he reveals a dark secret. He throws his spine and skull into the ocean, replaces it with another spine and skull weapon, and tells me that he needs his bell to show me something even deeper. I know it's not his butt, but I was hoping it was his butt. I checked my pockets, but oh my god, I don't have the bell. What the hell? I knew that I couldn't be responsible for this thing. I literally lose everything. So now I have to go find it by visiting each one of the killer's locales. I find out from the trapper that Huntress or Spirit knows where the bell is. I end up getting distracted by Trickster and going to IP Island, where I in fact did not see a sexy pyramid head or ghost face like I was hoping for. I was threatened by the Huntress, who later agreed to help me because she loves love, but I end up returning to Wraith empty-handed because I couldn't find the bell anywhere. A lot just happened in the course of 10 minutes, let me just tell you. It was a lot of story and a lot of exposition that probably could have been explained in a less clunky way through more of the story. Huntress stalks me through the jungle and tells me that Spirit has the bell. Are you kidding me? You literally could have told me this like 5 minutes ago. So I make my way back to Spirit's lighthouse and do a quick skill check mini game where I retrieve Wraith's sacred bell thing. When I return to the jungle, Wraith is dressed in almost nothing, which was very sexy, but I still can't touch his abs or his butt. He brings me down the hatch to meet his grandma? This lady then asks me a series of questions and makes me play a game to know if I'm deserving of Wraith's love. Man, I just wanted to slob on a knob. I didn't know I would need to play Family Feud to attain a stamp of approval from a vague family ghost just to get down and nasty with a pixelated killer. After all of this exposition, I learned that Wraith is part of the Cult of the Black Veil. He tells me that he can get off the island, but to do that, he needs to be sacrificed. He needs to be killed by a lover, but not only that, he needs to love that person in return. I know my character loves Wraith, but I learned something terrible. Wraith doesn't love me back. He feeds me some bullshit line that we didn't connect enough. Bro, what the fuck? You literally told me your entire tragic backstory, you gave me your precious bell thing, you told me about your love of horses and your weird murder cult, then you introduced me to your grandma. The mixed signals are crazy. If I didn't like someone, I would never let them meet my dead extended family. Did he not love me because I didn't know much about random constellations? Because that's bullshit too. Or was it because I told him to take off his shirt in a game of truth or dare where the goal is to be shocking and crazy? Which part of our relationship did we not connect on? Because I'm super confused. Maybe I was too forward? Maybe I shouldn't have suggested beach sex? But then what's the point of the game if I can't even have beach sex? No matter what it was, the ending was kinda ass, I won't lie. This game gave me so many signals that he was feeling what I was putting down and that he was enjoying his time with me. But then it clocks my ass by friend zoning me even though I was loyal only to the Wraith. Maybe I shouldn't have been nice to Dwight and Claudette. I've played a lot of games like this. Robin Morningwood, Coming Out on Top, I Love You Colonel Sanders, Dream Daddy. This was positively the most vague set of parameters to get in love with one of the main characters. Or, at the very least, to make them love you back. And the mini games made almost no sense in context to what you were trying to do. I thought that Coming Out on Top was hard to get a positive outcome, but after you play the game at least once, it's so easy and clear. Overall, I leave this game feeling a bit frustrated. I love dating sims because I love the lore, I love the story that's baked into them, and I fuck with the visual novel, but this one was just kind of annoying to play. The responses would rarely match the activity that I told it to do. Like, I would tell the game, no, don't do this, and then my character would say, I'm gonna do it anyway. I need a level of autonomy in a game that isn't counterplayed by the game's own desire to lead me to the route that it wants me to take. The illusion of choice is never fun in a visual novel. Never. Either the player has autonomy or they don't. Don't give me options if the game is going to follow the same route, no matter what I pick. And if I don't have actual autonomy, then give me some BS lame choice like left or right. Instead of asking me, do you want to do this thing? Do you want to do that thing? Just kidding, you're gonna do this thing. And so it becomes ever more clear why this game didn't take off the way that it could have. Behavior once again put out a half-baked game and just thought, RIP is enough to save it. It's like Disney putting out crappy cartoons and just hoping that people are gonna respond well because it says Disney on it. You gotta put a little work into your material. I hope you enjoyed watching me get friend-zoned by Wraith because now you don't have to. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna go eat ice cream until I can't feel my feet anymore. See y'all on the flip.